In this video, I'm going to be talking about my mental health specifically, but in general, bad mental health days. This is a list that I created to remind myself when I'm having a bad day of what steps to take in order to try and bring myself out of the bad feeling cloud that I get stuck in. To define the kind of day that I'm having and the reason why I think it's a bad day, I am really irritable, snappy, anxious, sad, emotional, and I think the main reason for that is because of my hormones and where I am on the hormone cycles. This list isn't for if you are 4 months into a depression that will not shift and it's affecting every aspect of your life. You do need to go to a GP about that and get professional help. That's not something that you can deal with yourself, but if you're just having a bad day because of a low mood caused by something that's upset you, or medication that's having side effects, or hormone changes, or anything like that, then I think this list could help. This journal basically has a listing that I made recently. I'll leave this list in the description as well. Obviously, it's personal to me, but you need to rewrite it and adapt it so it's relevant and makes sense to you. The first one is know that this day will pass. I really used to struggle if I felt low, because I remember thinking, well, when is this going to end? What's the end point of this? And how do you make it go away? And that is just a conversation that you don't want to focus on, because you can't answer it and nobody else can answer it for you. So the best thing to keep at the front of your mind, and I recommend this being the first thing on the list, is know that this day will pass. The second one is don't shut down or shut people out. I kind of started to visualize all this negative energy. So if you kind of like imagine all of this red gas filling up your head, and if you don't let it out, whatever way, whether you write it down or you break down to somebody and let them really listen to how you're feeling, it just solidifies in your mind. It makes it harder to break the habit. The next one is do more stuff that brings you joy. So this one is based on a recommendation from a manifestation coach that I like to watch on YouTube. She recommends that you create a stuff that brings me joy list. So I actually laid this one out on another notepad. Bear in mind that this list is one that you should be able to do every single day. I don't look at that often, but I think the fact that I have done that exercise and thought about it enough means that if I am having a bad day, I can bring to mind, right, well, what is it that makes me feel good? You know, do a facial, put a film on, light some candles. The next thing on the dealing with bad days list is get out of the house and go for a walk. I think this is an important one because I personally calm down a lot in nature anyway. I do think that there's benefit to being outside in the fresh air and walking. The next thing is I've got be kind to myself. Journal, talk, listen to helpful podcasts and videos. So definitely journal. Definitely, even if you feel really low and you don't want to write paragraphs or, pages and pages, just start by a sentence. I am feeling this. You will naturally want to continue and naturally want to get it out. I have tried to reframe my journaling process recently, so even if I'm having a really bad day, I won't give it the space to spread any more toxicity in my life. I'll state it as a fact, but then I'll quickly switch to a gratitude list, an affirmation list, an ideal reality paragraph. Also, like listing your previous wins, which is actually on here. So celebrate previous wins. This one's kind of a personal one for me, so it might not apply for you. It depends how you judge yourself. If you're quite self-critical and you don't really recognize the value that you add to situations. The next one is breathe, meditate, take a moment and drink some tea. If you're not into breathing exercises or meditation, simply take a moment and sit yourself in a quiet place. I like to sit on the floor sometimes, and then drink tea. Obviously this is probably more of a British one, but I find that helps me. Tea does make me feel some kind of way. I guess I can't really imagine any situations where I've had to drink a cup of tea and I've not felt okay. It feels comforting to drink tea. The next one is plan something fun. This could be one that applies to you too. I personally love to think about something that I can do in the future. Everybody loves to go on holiday or plan a day out or plan a social thing with a friend. Even if it's like renovating a house or a room or painting a wall, just think of something that you could do and plan it. The next one on my list is comfort myself with Disney and soft things. I feel like I'm a really comfort driven person. Yeah, I like to feel in a bit of a bubble. I like to have a fur blanket. I like to have things in my hands that I can hold. Just adapt to you, what makes you feel comforted. The next one on the list is self-care. Have a think about what you would class as self-care and take the time to do that. Next one on the list is keep thinking positive thoughts. Once you've started to pick yourself up by rereading past affirmations and gratitude lists and starting to really talk yourself out of the hole that you feel that you're in, make sure you make a conscious effort to combat any negative thoughts that come into your head for the rest of the day. To try and be a bit more aware and then flip a thought if it is negative to how could it be a positive. Even if you don't believe it, just flip it and say it in your head. And the last one is stick to your routine. This is one that I have taken from some of the apps that I use and some podcasts that I've recently been listening to. I'm not a routine person at the moment and I'm trying really hard to build up a better one. But if you do have one, then sticking to it will help the day pass faster and with less consequences for your mental health. A few other ones that I didn't have on my list but I've just thought of are eat your favourite foods. So do you have a comfort food? I am very good at this one, so I'm not very strict on myself at all. So if I do feel a little bit sad, then I will just have whatever I want. And my particular one is mashed potato and it just makes me feel good. So, and then obviously listening to music can really pick you up too. It's not one that I tend to do because I naturally will try and avoid anything that I think is going to stop my thought process. I struggle to put music on, but if I do get the music on, it does lift me up a bit. So that's my list. Obviously you can completely customize yours, but I do recommend having one. I've never had one and I don't really know why, but now I've got one, it is useful. Another thing that I just want to mention quickly is if I have social plans, I will instantly want to cancel them. Somebody commented on one of my YouTube videos recently about that being a big issue for them and them really feeling like anytime they have plans they want them to be cancelled. And then I responded saying I can totally understand this. If I have a social plan and then the person I'm going to see is like, oh sorry I can't make it, even if it was something fun, I'm still just like, oh yes, thank God I don't have to put myself through the thought of going out. But saying that, I actually never cancel plans, partly because I don't want to let people down, but a huge part of it is because I kind of feel like your mind isn't always your friend and it's not always telling you to do what's best for you. And so when I'm having a bad day and my mind is just like, I don't want to go, I kind of feel like, hang on a minute, are you saying that because we'd feel better if we didn't go? Or are you just trying to sabotage me a little bit more? So I always end up going, and honestly it always makes me feel better. So I really do recommend keeping any social plans that you have on a bad day. Unless you physically don't feel able to go, I'd recommend keeping the plans, because the last thing you want to do is get into a habit of cancelling plans. The more you do it, the easier it will get, and then before you know it, you'll become a social hermit. So try and avoid that if you can. So that brings me to the end of this video. I hope you found it useful. I would appreciate any feedback you have in the comments. I hope it wasn't too negative. I really don't want you to feel negative after watching this. I just feel like it's a good thing to have. It's kind of, you know, when you're at work and they have like procedures in place and they have paperwork there to support you. This is you making your own so that you can be supported if you're having a bad day. Thank you for watching, and I hope you have a great day, and I'll see you soon. Bye.